Getting ready for bed at a regular time is one of the most important habits you can learn.
Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters! Jason was my son, and today is his birthday.
Oh, Lori, scared another one away.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Sorry, Jack. Chucky's back.
We are counselors at Hackett's Quarry summer camp. There is a swarm of bears.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
Glenn! No! Glenn! Somebody help me, please!
Most people are so ungrateful to be alive, but not you.
It's showtime.
Alright guys, hello, and welcome back to another fabulous and wonderful episode of Screen Stream number 5. On this particular episode, we will be talking about all the Dark Picture games, and basically mainly the Quarry and Until Dawn. Granted, I know Supermassive has done a bunch of games over the time. See, I looked up some of their games, and I had no idea they actually had a hand in making Little Nightmares 2. That was surprising. That was very surprising. But yes, we are here. We're going to be talking about the Supermassive games to kind of honor the Devil in Me coming out at this point in about roughly 2 hours. That's why I'm starting the stream a little early, because I gotta start everything just a tad bit early, just so I have time to make sure I can play my game and shit. Tell me nothing about it, man. Tell me nothing about it. I still gotta play it. Tell me nothing. Tell me nothing. But, yeah, so on this fabulous and wonderful episode, the way we're gonna lay this one out is we're gonna, of course, talk about Until Dawn and the Quarry first. Mainly because without these two games, I can explain a little bit more about what I liked and didn't like in the Dark Picture games, which is the main meat and bones of the podcast today. So, let's do a little. I don't really know too much about Supermassive, to be perfectly honest. Like I said, I looked into them, and apparently they won a lot of awards. The TIGA and the BAFTA. I have no clue what those acronyms stand for, but apparently they won a lot of these fucking awards. But they started in 2008. They originally didn't start doing these kind of like choose your own adventure type games until Dawn back in 2015, which is weird enough. Looking into their actual like gaming, like what they have done, I think the only game that really like stood out to me was one of the Doctor Who games, to be perfectly honest. But other than that, I really didn't recognize a lot of their shit. I mainly know Supermassive for Until Dawn, The Quarry, of course, Dark Picture games, Rush of Blood, Impatient, and Little Nightmares 2. But let's start with a quick comparison between the two. There's something I think I pointed out during the Quarry, which was I've noticed that there's like a bit of a theme going on between these two types of games. You got Until Dawn, The Quarry, which is you think it's something completely normal, completely human explained, but in actual reality it's something supernatural, where the Dark Picture games are, you think it's something supernatural and it's something that it's easily explained. And we'll dive a lot more into the plot details of a lot of these games. So guys, I know I say in the title, but I'm going to start saying it now. Heavy spoilers, guys. Heavy spoilers. I don't hold anything back. The only spoilers I will not have in this discussion is The Devil in Me, and that's because it's not out yet. It's still got 2 hours before it comes out, so yeah, I have no spoilers for that. Everything else, super spoily. We're going to be talking about the characters, plot lines, beats, who I liked, who I didn't like, some of the actors, and how we know a lot of these actors. But like I said, we're going to start with Until Dawn, which is like their first real big hit, which originally came out, I want to say the demo was on the PS3 back in the day. I unfortunately did not get a chance to play this demo. I did look up, well, what I thought was originally one demo. It turned out to be more than one demo. It was like 8-9 different demos, apparently. I went down a deep rabbit hole and was finding things I didn't know about this game, to be honest, when it came to the demos. Like, they had, let's see, they originally started with the PlayStation Move controllers for the PS3. At the time, that was one of the big gimmicks PlayStation had. And then they slowly started to move away from that and to somewhat what we have now in Until Dawn. But then they completely changed once they went over to the next gen. It completely changed. I think actors got swapped around. Some actors got dropped. Definitely some dialogue scenes and stuff got changed around. But yeah, no. Until Dawn, it was... God. I didn't play when it first came out. I want to say it was... maybe 2016, 17, right when Man of Medan, or Medid. I never know if I'm pronouncing that right, by the way, guys. I will say that. I don't know if I'm pronouncing Man of Medan right. If I am, please let me know. I have tried, even during my stream, I could never say it right, and I keep getting corrected by, like, everybody, and they keep telling me two different ones. So I don't know which one's the correct one, which one's not the correct one. But, yeah, it was around, so, oh shit, yeah, Man of Medan came out 2019, so actually, yeah, I didn't get to play it for at least the first 4 years. It wasn't until in the past, like, 5 years I started really getting into these games. But Until Dawn was one of my first games I ever played by Supermassive. I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed this one. It was one of my favorites, to be perfectly honest. Not out of the two, out of Until Dawn and the Quarry, and I'll explain my bigger love for the Quarry in a minute. But with Until Dawn, it holds a very special place in my heart because I don't even know what fucking day it was, but I got a phone call from a buddy of mine, and he was just like, Amanda, you gotta come over and play this game. Like, you gotta play. I just got done playing. You gotta come over and play. And I was like, what game is it? And he's like, Until Dawn. I'm like, well, what's it about? Oh, it's some fucking crazy shit. You gotta check this shit out. So I was like, I bet, man, bet. So I go over there, we hang out for a little while, and while we're playing the game, we lose track of time. I think I showed up around like 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock. I didn't leave their house literally until fucking dawn. I played that game all night with them. Like, it was at least 8-9 hours. We played straight. Like, we couldn't put that shit down. We had a good time, though. We had a good time. David, I love you, man. I really wish we could do more games like that. Unfortunately, I don't think he was very big into the Quarry or any of the Dark Picture games, but he really did like Until Dawn. But I liked Until Dawn. And the thing with Until Dawn is some of the actors, and this is something I've noticed about a lot of the games, especially with the Dark Picture games, there's maybe one or two actors you may know in the Dark Picture games. I want to say in the Dark Picture games, some of the bigger guys you would know would be Sean Ashmore, who played Conrad. Funny enough, I didn't realize this until I was looking this up, and I feel like such a fucking dork because I love this show. I love this show. He's in The Boys. He's in The fucking Boys. And I didn't know that. He plays Lamplighter. I knew I was looking at Lamplighter the entire time, like, why does this cute face look oddly familiar? But I could never put him. It's fucking Conroy. Fucking Conroy. But, you know, like Man of Medan had, you know, Sean. Little Hope, of course, had, fuck, it's like Will Poulter? Something like that. I can never say his last name. But we all know Will. He's mainly known for the Where's the Miller meme? Wait a minute, you're only getting paid, $50,000. I'm only getting paid $25,000. Wait a minute, you getting $25,000? I'm getting $1,000. Wait a minute. You guys getting paid? Yeah, that guy, that's him. And of course, House of Ashes has Ashley Tisdale, which, if I may add, what I find funny about that is in the Quarry, they brought in Brenda Song, who, conveniently enough, played with Ashley Tisdale in The Sweet Life of Zack Cody. Also, another thing I found a little interesting is that a lot of the actors they picked for these games, they all have some kind of connection to Disney. Like, I'm surprised about the amount of actors who were in Disney shows or movies before they showed up in these games, or even after these games. I was just like, Jesus Christ, man. Very surprised that Disney actors are are fucking part of this shit. But Until Dawn also has a good cast, a great cast. Not the best cast. I'm gonna be honest. The Quarry, to me, has one of the best casting of all the games, because the fact that I recognize several of the names from a lot of different things, especially a lot of the horror icon situations. But again, we'll get to Quarry in a minute. We'll get to the rest of this. But let's start with Until Dawn. So, of course, we have Raimi? Is that how he's... God, I can never say his name either. Again, God, I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic as fuck, and I write all this shit down. I have sloppy fucking handwriting. But, Raimi, basically the guy who plays Josh. A lot of people recognize this motherfucker. Like, I knew this guy right off. I never even seen the show, but I recognized him from Mr. Robot. Like, I've only seen, like, clips and, like, bits and pieces and some dialogue and shit, but as soon as I saw his face, I'm like, that's that guy from the TV show. But one of the bigger movies you might recognize him from is when he played the lead singer from Queens in the Bohemian Rhapsody movie, which I thought he did a great job as Freddie Mercury. To be perfectly honest, he had the look, the sound, the feel, and I really appreciate him going all the way in that movie. Hayden Panettiere, fuck, I cannot say anybody's names today. Goddamn. Hayden Panettiere. If I ain't even saying that right, I have no clue. If I am butchering anybody's name, by the way, anybody's name, whether you're a fan or the actual actors watching this, which I highly doubt it, but if you are, love you guys. But I'm sorry that I butchered y'all's name. I'm sorry. I'm dyslexic as fuck yet again. I would say to the fucking cows come home. I'm dyslexic and I'm terrible at reading shit. But Hayden, we all know her mainly from the TV show Heroes. I kind of grew up watching the first 2 seasons of Heroes, so I knew her right off the bat. But also, she's in Scream as one of our favorite Scream survivors. Despite what that one movie says, the other movie I think it's 4 said she died, but we know in 5 she's very much alive because of that one YouTube clip. But Jordan Fisher as well. I recognize this guy. Not only is he like big voice actor in Disney, like, and apparently he was in a Teen Beach movie. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, again, a lot of Disney actors, but I mainly know him from Rent Live and Grease Live. I'm big nerd for Broadway shows and musicals and shit, so I recognized Jordan right off the bat. I was like, oh my god, he played Mark. He played Mark. Unfortunately, a lot of these other guys I really didn't look into, except maybe Megan Martin. I didn't write anything she's done down, but I know I recognize her name. I recognize some of her filmography to look like. It might have been her. It could have been the chick who played Ash. I'm not sure. Well, again, like I said earlier, a lot of these actors are very unknown actors. They're very unknown, so we don't really know too terribly much about these guys. But again, I've noticed that a lot, especially with the Dark Picture games, that they mainly hire a lot of unknown actors, which I can't really complain about, because you hire like well-known actors, you're more distracted by trying to figure out who this actor is than you are actually watching the game or trying to play along with the game. Like, I will admit, Ted Raimi, when he first showed up, I had no fucking clue. Like, it took me, I think, till chapter 6, maybe 7, to figure out it was Ted fucking Raimi. Sorry about that. But yeah, it took me a good fucking minute to figure out. Like, I was looking at him the entire time, like, I know this motherfucker. Why does he have a very familiar face? It's Ted fucking Raimi. But Until Dawn, what made it such a great make your choice game is the fact that a lot of these characters, you liked them. You kind of liked them. Like, at first when I originally played it, there was majority of them I didn't like at first. I was just like, I can't stand these guys. I really can't. And then I replayed it right around the time when the Quarry was coming out, back in June, I want to say. But I replayed it, and I really started liking these characters. And I have to say that about a lot of the Dark Picture games as well. Like Man of Medan, I really had that one very low on my list of games I liked, and then I recently just replayed it. And I'm gonna be honest, I have it a quite bit higher than Little Hope. Like originally, Little Hope was kind of more on top of it, if I may say. But nah, I want to say Little Hope kind of drug out a little bit and had its problems here or there. But again, we'll get to that. But Until Dawn, though, with that one in particular, what made everything, like I said, everything pretty good about that one is that the characters were very likable, had a charm to them, but then you also had the characters you didn't really like as well. And what I mean by characters you didn't like, we can all agree that nobody liked Emily. I can say it, you can say it, we can all say it. Nobody liked Emily. I didn't like Emily. I've never met a single fucker in this entire world who's ever played Until Dawn who liked Emily. But we all agree, Emily sucks. Emily fucking sucks. Like, no offense, Emily, but you suck, my bitch. But, basically the, kind of cut it a little short of the synopsis of this one is, Until Dawn, Hannah and Beth, who, funny enough, is played by the same actress, Ella Latina, or something like that. Yeah, she played both voices. Didn't know that. I didn't know they were playing by the same actress, but, I think it was Beth. She got pranked in the beginning of the game by, of course, Josh, Sam. And actually, I can't even say Sam. Sam tried to stop that shit. Everybody else kind of was just going along with it. Sam actually tried to stop that shit, I have to say. Oh, shit. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a lag issue, and I want to make sure we're coming around just fine. There we go. Okay, yep. I'm sorry, guys. I'm having a little difficulties real quick. Okay. Yeah, we got a little bit of a lag issue, but it'll be alright. But anyway, Beth ends up getting pranked by everybody. Not even Josh. Josh is her brother, and Josh is passed out. Sam's trying to stop this, but Matt, Mike, Jessica, Ash, and Emily, and Chris all get together to basically pull a terrible prank on no, it was Hannah. It was Hannah, not Beth. So I get the two girls confused a lot. But anyway, I digress. But basically, they end up getting pranked, and one thing leads to another. They end up falling off a cliff and basically dying. They die. They don't die. One of them dies. The other one doesn't. And she ends up eating her sister and ends up becoming a Wendigo. And that's the big twist of the whole game, is that they're Wendigos. And I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed that twist. It's not many movies nowadays, especially nowadays, that you will find Wendigo legends and shit. And I appreciate a good Wendigo story. To be perfectly honest, I appreciate a good Wendigo story from start to finish. That's why I'm a big fan of Stephen King. He knows how to do Wendigo stories properly. But I have to say, this game did an amazing job telling a good story of a Wendigo. Like, they dove very well into the urban legends behind it, the reason, the mythos, the understanding of how we got here. And that's actually further dulled into if you play the VR game, The Inpatient, where you actually learn a little bit more from the inside, because you play... To be honest, I'm not quite sure if you're like a reporter who breaks in or what, but you end up getting into the Black Hills sanatorium and being involved in this whole situation. You can either become the Wendigo that bites Hannah, or not bites, but attacks them in the beginning of the game, or you end up escaping and keeping your mouth shut or going to jail, whichever. But yeah, with Until Dawn, they literally did an amazing build-up, making you think and question your action. And it's not until, I want to say, roughly chapter 4 or 5, I want to say. I can't really remember. It's basically right after Jessica gets kidnapped, she gets yeeted out that window. First of all, fucking love that jump scare. That was the most hilarious jump scare I had, because I should have seen that shit coming, but I didn't. But I did at the same time. The first time I played it, I nearly dropped the controller. Which, if I may digress for a second, is something I would like to add about the mechanics of Until Dawn. The whole move controller thing, they kind of kept it without actually having the long ball move controllers. I cannot remember these types of controllers, not the dual shocks, but there's something else. But they had the move motions into the fucking controllers, and I really liked that. Like, I thought that was a very unique thing. I'm disappointed the Quarry didn't do anything like that, or any of the other Dark Picture games. That was a mechanic I really, really, really enjoyed in the game, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, like I said, I digress. So we go on this like wacky ass fucking adventure though, where we gotta stop the Wendigos and save all the people, and you can either let them live, let them die, I guess infect them. I really didn't get all the trophies for this one. I think mainly I focused on trying to make sure Ash and Chris, they got together and make sure they had a good relationship. Make sure Emily and Mike hated each other. Also, I basically want to make sure Emily was very much forgotten and disliked, to the point that at the end we wish she would have died. Because my general playthrough with a lot of these games is I try to keep everybody alive. And then after that game, then I try to kill everybody, infect everybody, do whatever you gotta do. But mainly I try to keep everybody alive, even if I don't like the character. Now, I will say on this last playthrough that I did, oh yeah, no, I killed her. I was like, I'm done with this bitch. I don't want her in my game anymore. I don't want to play her. So when I got the opportunity, I killed her in the most gruesome way possible. I had Hannah fucking grab her when she was trying to go up the elevator and squish her eyes out. It was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. But yeah, so you can basically go around, try to stop the Wendigos, do your best to survive. And that was the fun thing about Until Dawn. Like, it really put a lot of added pressure on you by going like almost hour by hour, it seemed like, as you go through the chapters from the start of the night to the end of the start of the night to the beginning of dawn. Which I like the concept. I really like the concept for Until Dawn. The winter feel, the ski lodge kind of feel to it, the mountains, the Wendigos. It all fit very well. Like, it's literally my top favorite game. Like I said, I can't really choose between Until Dawn and the Quarry because I love them both just as equally for the same one. But I will say, I might love the Quarry just a tiny bit more, only because it hits more in that nostalgic feel for me. And again, I'll explain in a minute. But with Until Dawn, I love it because it's just even going back and doing my edits for the videos and replaying the game, I kind of softened up on a lot of the characters, especially Mike. At first, I hated Mike. I really did. I was like, yo, he's just typical douchebag. Douchebag Mike, everybody. Look at the douchebag. But Mike really kind of grew on me after he failed to save Jessica. She fell down the elevator shaft, and then he went to go after her, and I saw a bit of that brave side, and then him with the dog and all this shit. I was like, okay, I kind of can get back into this guy. But I will say, like many of these games, because the amount of characters in these games, you can't get a lot of character development for a lot of these characters, so some characters kind of disappear halfway through the game and then come back near the end. I'm mainly looking at Jessica and fucking Matt. I liked Matt. Jordan Fisher did a good job playing Matt. I enjoyed Matt. I actually felt bad that he was dating Emily. I was just like, bro, you could do so much better. Like, that my wadded tissue I thrown into the garbage is better than Emily. Alright, man? Like, you could do so much better. But I felt kind of bad that after he finds Jessica, we don't see them even at the finale. Like, Jessica and Matt are the only two not present in the cabin at the end of the game where the explosions happen. I don't know if they didn't have time to write them showing up or write them coming down the mountain or what, but for some reason, they disappeared. Now, I kind of get why Jessica disappeared for a good fucking minute, because she got kidnapped by the Wendigo. Oh shit, there went my pen. Doing cool pin tricks over here and I dropped it. But Now, I can get why Jessica didn't show up for majority of the games because, again, she got kidnapped by the Wendigo about halfway through the fucking game. And she doesn't wake up, I think, until, like, way later, like, several hours after. So, I don't know if it's just pure adrenaline crashed out on her and she slept pretty good or what the deal was, but she never showed up. And I just feel bad for Matt. Like, the dude literally gets the tower scene, gets to choose whether or not to kill, leave Emily to die. I straight up would just left her ass, to be honest. Just, oh, you want to talk shit, man. You gonna cheat on me with Matt? Which I have to say, I love it how Emily was flirting and trying her ways with Matt, and you could clearly tell, I mean, not Matt, Mike. Damn it, I always keep getting confused. I love how she tried to flirt with Mike a lot, and you can clearly tell Mike's not interested. He's all into Jessica. He really likes Jessica. So, yeah, I mean, he's trying to be admirable, trying to be the friendly guy, but Matt, not Mike, but Matt's the real hero. Matt's the real hero for having to put up with that bitch for most of the game. I'm glad he gets away from her, but I'm very disappointed we don't get a chapter with just him chilling out by himself without that fucking bitch. I think we might get a tiny section, but mainly it's just just him and Emily. Him and fucking Emily chilling. I fucking hate that shit, because I hate Emily. But with Until Dawn, though, like I said, overall, the acting's great, the storyline's great, the Lindsay setting's great, and for their first time really doing a choose-your-own-adventure game, they did a good job. They had a lot of branches, a lot of actions, a lot of calls to effect, where I've noticed, like, with the Telltale games, even if you, like, really dislike this character or whatnot, and you get to a section, it's just like, can you save this character, or do you want to save this other person? And you save that person, they suddenly like you. It's like, are you forgetting about the other, like, 20 incidents where we were bickering and trying to throw each other off a fucking roof, but in this one section, and from here on out, we're now BFFs. Okay, I get it. It's like the whole Eugene thing off The Walking Dead, like, how many times has this motherfucker gotta betray everybody before people realize he just needs to go? He just needs to go. But yeah, with these kind of choose your adventure type of games, though, especially with the Dark Picture games, they actually got a lot of cool different paths, and the way the relationship statuses affect the mood and shit, and it really helps narrow down your choices in dialogue. Like, there were some dialogue choices I never got my first and second playthrough around, but I've seen other people get, and it's mainly a lot of the bad choices. I do my best to do all the good choices, especially with characters I like, with Chris and Ash. I didn't realize that if, Ash doesn't like you and you really insulted her, she will leave you to die if you play Chris. She will leave you outside to die, painfully by the Wendigo. And she will not feel sorry for you. She will not feel bad. Emily, though, no matter what you fucking do with that bitch, she's always just bitching. Like, even if you save her life, oh my god, he left me to die at the tower. No, the fuck I didn't. I got the fuck off to come get you and you fell in. My bad. But like I said, I noticed a lot of but a lot of story, like choose your own adventure story games. They really don't put the aspects of the relationship involved in the story, because they're literally, like with Detroit Become Human, there's several dialogue choices that don't make any sense, especially if you never found this information, or you never talked to that person, but yeah, it's still giving you that option, because it's the correct option to get if you want a certain ending. Where with Until Dawn, the kind of endings vary whether or not your characters are alive. Like, that simply is that. Like, it just changes whether certain characters are alive. And especially when making decisions, if certain characters are dead or alive, at the time you have to make the decision, it could really dramatically change your entire game. And I really like that. Now let's go on to, as I like to call it, the masterpiece, the creme de la creme. The game where I spent, I think, an entire month playing straight, and I even platinum. And I know a lot of people are like, well, that's no big deal. You just platinum a game. No, that's a big deal to me, because I don't platinum games. I don't mind a little bit of grinding here and there. I don't mind getting some trophies here and there, but I don't go out of my way to platinum a game. And I went out of my way for the Quarry to platinum this shit. And I'd say a lot of them I ended up combining together and making some good fucking moments together. But yeah, the Quarry. Okay, so I'm very excited to talk about this. This is my favorite one. This is my favorite. This one for me hits all the feels of a typical 80s summer camp horror movie, beat by beat. Like, I love this game so much that even though I knew what it was, which was the funny part, because you know you got the whole prologue opening, you know, with Ted Raimi, which again have to add the fact that he did a really, really, really good job as being an intimidating, nice / jackass cop, if that makes sense. Ted, you cool, man. I fucking love you. You did a good job as Travis. Very good fucking job. But yeah, you got like fuck, I lost my train of thought. I found my train. Train came back to the tracks. Nope, there it goes again. But with the Quarry. Oh, there goes my train again. Found it. So the Quarry really reminds me of a 80s summer feel horror movie. A lot of nostalgic feels to it, especially with a lot of the campy dialogue and the goofiness with all the characters. I loved every single character here, and like I said, I knew exactly what the game was going to be, because after the prologue, you know, you have Travis standing there going, "Does this look like the Harbinger Motel to you?" And then we cut away. As we're cutting away to the title screen, and we're hearing "Fly Me to the Moon," which I cannot think of the woman who sings that version, but you did a good job. You did a good job. I love that song. Frank Sinatra does an amazing job. You hold up very well next to him. But while that is playing, I literally look at the camera, because I was streaming this at the time. But I look at the camera and just go, "So guys, we thinking werewolves? We thinking werewolves?" And I stayed by that all the way up to the end. Like, yeah, it takes till I think chapter 7 when they finally tell you, you know, it is werewolves. But I figured it out in the first like 20 minutes. Okay, I take that back. It wasn't the first 20 minutes, like first 30, 40 minutes. You know, right as the prologue was coming to the end, it was basically the reason I knew it was a werewolf was the fact that who is Max, which I don't really know anything about a lot of these actors who played the counselors. I know, I want to say Justin Smith, Ariel Winters, and Miles Robbins. I recognize them. All these other counselors I don't recognize. And I recognize all the entire Hatchet family members. I recognize all of them. But when Max gets attacked and he's bit, that is when I knew that was a werewolf. I was like, you're putting too much emphasis on the bite. And he's just like, "Oh my God, I'm bleeding." It's just like, okay, you're bleeding a lot. That's how, and the fact that, you know, the Quarry starts off with the big fucking full moon and "Fly Me to the Moon." There's too many variables that I was connecting the dots too fucking easily for me. But I am also a horror queen, so I know my horror. I know my horror right off the bat. I could tell you what kind of demon it is just by looking at it sometimes. But yeah, no, fucking love that opening. But even though I knew what we were going to walk into, I was still excited to play this game because the acting is just phenomenal, like, to be perfectly honest. I love the acting. Like I said, I don't really know a lot of these characters. I should, though. I really should, because a lot of these actors did a really good job. But I don't know if I want to start with the Hackett family. I was like, let's start with the counselors, because I could go on and on about the Hackett family. But we got Max and Laura, who are at the beginning of the game. Basically, we don't really get to hang out with them except for, I think, the prologue chapter. Chapter 7, we get to play as Laura, and it's not until I think chapter 9. I think it's chapter 9 you get to play as her again. Unfortunately, you only play Max once, and that's in chapter 10, and it's not even that long. So I can't really say too terribly much about them, except They're very well written characters. I like the dialogue between them, especially if you make some good choices when it comes to their dialogue choices. They have a good, fun spirit about themselves, and they actually seem like a very relatable couple. Like I really like that about this game franchise is that you feel like a lot of these people are couples, are friends, are enemies, are family members. Like they really put their all into this, especially with the Quarry. But Max and Laura, amazing actors. It's disappointing we didn't get to play too terribly much with them, but I kind of understand. Again, you got 9 playable characters you could play, and you only have so many hours in a day to tell the story. But Max and Laura did a good job. Brenda Song, she's another character I probably shouldn't mention. But Brenda Song, we all know Brenda Song. Again, I made a mention that she played with Ashley Tisdale in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. She played a lot of interesting movies and especially Disney Channel shit over the years. So we all knew Brenda. I grew up with Brenda. And I thought it was really cool to see her play Caitlin, the kind of badass final girl. Because she even gets a trophy for being the final girl, which I find that kind of funny as hell. That she's the only one that gets the trophy for being the final girl. I guess it's just the way it plays out at the end, but, you know, go Caitlin, go Caitlin. Ariel Winters plays Abigail. I have to say, I fucking adore her. I've never seen Modern Family. I've seen a bunch of fucking clips. And I'm half tempted to watch the show, to be honest. I really am. From some of the clips and scenes I've seen, the show looks really, really good. But Abigail, or Ariel Winters, who plays Abigail, I want to say she plays the youngest daughter of one of the main families in that show. I know her sister's the really slutty one. No, she's the really slutty one. Her brother is kind of a smart ass. But I thought she did a really good job. She brought a lot of softness to Abigail, even the hard roughness and the shy awkwardness, which I have to say, her and Evan, who played Nick, their chemistry was fucking adorable. Trying to get them together in Chapter 4 was just a treat and a delight to me, to be perfectly honest. I thoroughly enjoyed trying to get them together. I was very disappointed that there's no actual conclusion with their relationship. Like, he becomes a werewolf and that's it. Like, Nick, unfortunately, is that character, like Jessica and Until Dawn, who just disappears about halfway through the game and he doesn't come back to the fucking end credits where we're seeing who survived the night. He gets the shit end of the stick. He's a fucking werewolf who gets trapped in a cage by the end. So we, unfortunately, don't get to hang out with him too terribly much. And we get to see a lot of softness and love and affection he has towards Abby, and the same vice versa, especially when you're trying to get them to kiss in Chapter 5 after the Truth and Dare game, and they're walking in the forest alone right before he gets attacked. It's a really cute moment. It's really cute, and I fucking love it. I thought they were a very cute couple. I thought they were very cute, and I try to do that. I try to couple a lot of characters, because I'm not gonna lie, Justin Smith, who we all know from the Jurassic World movies, who fucking love that kid. He's a great screamer. But he also played Ryan Reynolds' son in Detective Pikachu, which I thought that was funny as well. But Ryan and Dylan. I'm sorry, I tried doing both Dylan and Brenda Song's character and Ryan and Dylan together. And between the two characters, Ryan and Dylan all the way. They are hashtag couple goals sometimes. They're cute together. The flirtatious is nice. I fucking love it. Everything about the relationship, I try every time I play this game to make sure they're together at the end. Like, I even went out of my way to get extra dialogue to see if Ryan even liked Dylan. And as soon as he was just like, I like hanging out with Dylan, I was like, yes! My dream is complete! We may continue on with the game. But I thought Dylan and Brenda Song's character, Caitlin, I thought their friendship was really fucking, like, on par. It almost reminded me of me and my friend, Andrew, who I played mini games with on the stream. You might have seen us do Dead Island together. And he probably has shown up periodically on the camera. He'll show up in the corner and whatnot. But, yeah, totally us. Brenda Song and Dylan, yeah, totally us. That's us all the way through. all the way fucking through. And I think that's something I liked about the counselors in this game is they were all very likable. Like, there was not a single character I disliked. Like, the only one I could say I really didn't really get a chance to explore too much was Ryan. And because a lot of his dialogue choices, especially near the end, were kind of, oh, we can't do that to Chris Hatchett. No, Chris is a good friend. No, it's like, bro, how can you deny what the fuck you're saying? At this point, he literally watched Nick transform in front of him, and depending on whether or not you shot him or not, he watched Abigail get her head ripped off. If not, he watched Nick jump out a fucking window. And everybody stood there and saw this shit. And he's gonna sit there and deny this shit. And it was something that kind of ticked me off a lot about Ryan, was that they literally just gave him kind of one trait, but added a little bit of diversity with him by making him gay. You know, or the option of being gay. Actually, no, he wouldn't necessarily, because you could choose whether or not Ryan could be with Caitlin or Dylan. So, I don't know, maybe bisexual? But it doesn't really matter. The point is, whether they're friends, couples, or whatnot, they are fantastic together. As a entire cast together, their chemistry flows well, the funniness between them, they feel like bromances, they feel like actual relationships. And especially with Emma and Jacob. I felt so bad for Jacob. Like, 'cause you gotta remember, they're all teenagers. Like, they're like 17, no, not 17, they're like 18, 19 years old. So for Jacob, probably Emma was like his first love. Because Jacob seems like that type who would gotta be a bit of a player, you know, just this and that and da-da-da-da, you know, I'll be with this girl, I'll be with that girl. And then Emma showed up and rocked this fucking world over the summer. So, you know, it really broke his heart. And you could tell that. That really broke his heart. And I tried to play it off where I made him more of the macho guy who was just like, yo, you know, we broke up, tried to be cool about it. But, you know, inside it really hurt him. But I thought the entire casting choice for the counselors were really wonderful and amazing choices. But now let's get to my favorite part, which is the Hackett family. Let's start with my personal favorite. And no, it ain't gonna be David Arquette. Even though David Arquette is my boy. I love me some David Arquette. We're gonna start with my personal favorite, who is Lynn Shay, who plays Constance. Fucking love Lynn Shay. God damn it. Y'all saw the stream when I was playing the Quarry and she showed up for that first time. I was like cheering. I was clapping. I was just like, whoa, there's Lynn Shay. There's my bitch right there. Because she is. I love her. I love her. And what was sad was that, you know, Andrew, you hear me cheering. He comes in. He's just like, who the fuck is Lynn Shay? I'm like, you know Lynn Shay. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do. He's like, all right, where do I know her from? Insidious? Question mark. I'm like, Insidious. She played the woman, the medium? And he was like, oh, that's her. I'm like, yeah, Lynn Shay. That boss-ass bitch. She's done a lot of fabulous work over the years. She is a wonderful horror actress. I have to say, she has to be up there with Jamie Lee Curtis with me when it comes to horror icons. And then, of course, we got my next favorite, which is my boy Ted Raimi. Everybody loves Ted Raimi. Dude always has the blast playing whatever character he wants. I'm sorry, I still find it funny that it took till chapter 7 for me to realize it was Ted Raimi. I was staring at him throughout the prologue, just, why does he look familiar? I think I even said that on the stream several times. I'm like, why does he look familiar? I should know this motherfucker. Who is this guy? Ted fucking Raimi. I felt like a dumbass for not realizing it was my homeboy, Ted fucking Raimi. And of course, we got my next favorite, which is David Arquette playing Chris. I made the joke at the beginning of the game when I first started playing it, and it's sad to find out I was right. I made the joke. $20 says David Arquette's gonna show up for like 15 minutes, and then we're not gonna see him for the rest of the game until the very end. And when you know, he shows up for about 15-20 minutes, and we don't see him for the rest of the game. And even when we do see him, he's a werewolf. So I'm like, but that makes sense though. And a lot of 80s horror movies, they did that shit. Especially with the all-top cast. They would do that shit. They would get like the most well-known actor, like well-known at the time, to play in a movie. Just either kill him off in the opening, kind of like Drew Barrymore in Scream, where she was the most well-known actress of the whole movie, and then she gets killed off in the prologue of the movie. That's basically David Arquette there, without being killed off until the end. And then this one was a bit of a surprise. It took me a minute to recognize him because it's been so long since I've seen a younger picture of him. But the guy who plays Jedediah, Lance Hickerson. Hinkerson? Am I saying that right? I hope I'm saying that right. I pray I'm saying all y'all's names right. I probably ain't, but again, my bad, guys. But Lance. And a lot of people were very confused when I said, oh my god, Lance. Like, oh, I love this guy. A lot of people had no clue who the fuck Lance is. Lance played Bishop in the Aliens movie. The Aliens with the S at the end. The second one. He played Bishop. I think he even played Bishop's head in the third movie. I don't know much about the third Aliens movie, okay? I'm not gonna lie about that. I didn't care for the third Aliens movie with you at the prison planet. But yes, he played Bishop. He has played Bishop, and that tickled me fucking pink. I'm like, so let me get this straight. Bishop, the medium from Insidious, fucking Ted Raimi, and our favorite officer from Scream, Dewey, are all a family together, just being werewolves and hanging out. Fucking love that shit, though. But with the Quarry, though, besides the cast, and like I said, the story that plays out throughout the game with the whole werewolf scenario, I thought it was done very well, especially with the tie-around characters, because all the games have this, by the way. With Until Dawn, it was the psychiatrist. I didn't catch the actor's name. I probably should have, but I didn't write it down. But you have that guy, and then you have Grace, who plays in, actually, I don't have anything she plays. I have something that Dylan plays, which, by the way, Dylan, the guy who plays Dylan, Miles Robbins, I didn't realize he was in Halloween 2018. It clicked on me when I saw his face, and I was like, holy shit, that's Laurie Strode's granddaughter's friend, the one that blew up the pumpkin with the little firecracker. It's him. It's fucking Dylan. I was just like, very surprised about that. Very fucking surprised about that. But anyway, she plays Elise, but Grace plays Elise, who is the, I guess, communicator throughout this game. She's a, fortune teller. And I like this one, where the Until Dawn had the totems. With this one, you have the fucking tarot cards. And I like that. And I can say that about all the other Dark Picture games, is that they have, little Easter eggs, but they're not just, stupid random things. It's literally some cool, like, with Man of Medan, it was with the pictures. What was it in Little Hope? It was... Fuck, I'm trying to remember what it was. Yeah, I didn't write any of the shit down either, which is the sad part. But the point is, they did a lot of that shit where a lot of the collectibles, hidden things, were not just normal things. They were, just random, not random objects, but objects that fit with the story. And about the Quarry, with the tarot cards, I thought it fit very well because the overarching story is she is the gypsy whose son started the whole werewolf thing. She's like, her son Silas got let loose after she died, and her entire gypsy camp got burned down because fucking David Arquette's niece and nephew over here. I think it was his niece and nephew, or was it Ted Raimi's niece and nephew? I can't remember who was the dad. I want to say it was David Arquette was the dad, and Ted Raimi was the uncle. But anyway, the kids end up trying to save the boy, set the place on fire, get bit in the process, and people die. So throughout the years, they try to hide it, become werewolves, hide the fact that they're werewolf, people start disappearing, yada, yada, yada. You got the typical Until Dawn fashion. You gotta survive the night. You gotta make it all the way through to the next morning. You gotta survive. And I have to say, my favorite way to play this game is have some of them be infected, because it makes sense for them to disappear. Like, Emma, she disappears for a little while for majority of the game, and then when she does come back, she really has nothing to offer. I will say that. Like, I think right after she gets bit at the treehouse, and if she goes and sleeps in the car, we really don't see her for, I think, 2 chapters, and then she can either show up and hang out with Abigail in chapter 8 or 9, and then stay upstairs, or we make her into a werewolf, and we don't see her for the rest of the fucking game. Because she's a goddamn werewolf. And what's actually kind of interesting about that is you play Jacob in the beginning of the game, or when you play Jacob in the beginning of the game, you can get a silver bracelet. So y'all can have the lovers meeting at the end between her and Jacob. And I like the fight between them when he's becoming a... Excuse him, wow, I keep burping like a son of a bitch. But I like it when they're fighting and then he becomes the werewolf and she's got that bracelet on. She could stop them from biting themselves. Because I don't like it that he ends up telling her that it's his fault. Even though she's like kind of cool with it. Like, yeah, whatever, Jacob. Like, you can sit with me, free country. And I feel like they're never going to be friends again. So I like it where she goes to meet Jacob. She's like, oh my God, Jacob, I miss you. And then he becomes a werewolf right in front of her. Oh yeah, no, she would fucking love him forever at that point. Sorry, not sorry. But, yeah, the way she could kill these guys is actually incredible. Like, you could kill them a lot more creatively in this one than Until Dawn. So I find that actually very funny. I do like the fact that we have werewolves. I can't wait to see what the next big game is going to be. Because we got, you know, Wendigos, werewolves. What's another... witches next? Is it going to be witches? Because we're in the W format here, okay? We got Wendigos, werewolves, witches. Seems like the next logical step. But, yeah. The Quarry and Until Dawn. 2 of my favorite Supermassive games. Absolutely love them. Absolutely adore them. I think they're really 2 good standalone games. I like the casting. And I have a lot of high expectation when it comes to their games like this. Like, Until Dawn gave me expectations. The Quarry gave me high expectations. And so, anytime they do a standalone game, I'm always excited. But I think I've done ranted and raved and talked about enough of Until Dawn and the Quarry. Let us get into the meat and potatoes of this whole podcast, which would be, of course, the Dark Picture games. Okay. So like I said beforehand, the difference between like Until Dawn and the Quarry and then the Dark Picture games is Until Dawn and the Quarry are supernatural entities that you think are real, where Dark Pictures is you think it's supernatural but it's actually real and can be humanly explained. Man of Medan. Like I said earlier, I originally played this one and I was not impressed with it at first. I was kind of let down. I think it was mainly because I got the twist about the ship not being haunted for real spoiled for me a couple of years prior. Not a couple of years, a couple of months prior before I even got to touch the game, to be honest. So I kind of went in kind of a bit of saltiness already, and of course I was comparing it to Until Dawn, which is the game I just played, I think, that month prior. So going into the game, I was a bit disappointed, to be honest. You know, I was expecting this flush 8-9 hour game, and I completed it in less than 5 or 6 hours. Like, and I noticed that about a lot of the Dark Picture games. They're very short compared to their other games, such as the Quarry and Supermassive. Compared to the Quarry and Until Dawn, they're a little bit short. They're about 5-6 hours long, where the other ones are 8, 9, 10 hours, and it has all this replayability to it. And unfortunately, I can't say the Dark Picture ones. They have some replayability to it, but not a lot that makes me want to platinum the trophy like I did with the Quarry. But Man of Medan, have to say, I ended up re-liking this after replaying it. I ended up liking it more than I originally did, which is saying a lot because sometimes I don't take back my verdicts. Sometimes I'm a bit harsh when it comes to reviews and criticism. A lot of times it's just though, it's because I've seen so many horror movies and it's like I've seen it done better. Yeah, maybe a cliche, but I've seen it done better or worse. The acting can be better or worse and all this stuff. So going back in with the mindset that, okay, this is not a haunted ship. The Dark Picture games are not about supernatural things. They're more about personal things. I went in with that mindset. I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I thought the dialogue between all the characters, yet again, was fantastic. The relationship seemed very, very believable. And I spent a lot of time trying to make our favorite lamplighter and Felicia, who is played by Alicia Isa? If I'm even saying that right. Again, guys, my bad if I'm not. But I spent a lot of time trying to get them together. I thought they were a super cute couple, very adorable. I thought they played off each other extremely well. Julia and Alex, of course, power couple. You know, they're supposed to get married in this one. And we got Brad. Poor Brad. Brad kind of got the shit in the stick because, again, guys, I will say yet again, a lot of characters just end up disappearing for a little while. Brad's one of those characters. He ends up disappearing for a little while, but he does get his own chapter if you pick a correct thing. That's something I've noticed, especially about Man and Madon, is that they had secret chapters if you did certain things. It was mainly the Conroy secret chapter. If you ended up not letting him take the boat and fleeing, you get one where he's walking around by himself, and that's when he gets tapped by the pinup girl. And with Brad, he gets one near the ending of the game when him and Julia, I think it's him and Julia end up going down a hole and trying to get the radio power back on. But with this one, I thought the story was actually really good. Like I said, originally I didn't like it. But I ended up really enjoying the story because, we've all heard horror stories about ghost ships. And I don't mean a haunted, ship, just like ships just lost at sea that wind up just coming back. And it's kind of creepy. And the fact that this Maturian gold, which, by the way, I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to move all this shit. Apparently they thought this was going to be a great thing for the war, fucks up an entire ship. Nobody has done anything to find this ship, but yet, we're going to end up arresting everybody at the end if you make the wrong call at the end of this game. I'm being dead serious. If you end up calling them, the marshals or whoever to come pick your ass up and you tell them the name of the ship and they show up and come get your ass, you're getting arrested by the end of the game. I got that in the first time and I was pissed as fuck. I was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Well, I was pissed as fuck. Not only because of that, but because I accidentally got Conroy killed. One of the mechanics of the game that I actually had to tweak a little bit because I just can't do it. It fucks with me. It fucks with me because it's moving and the background's moving, but it's the don't breathe bullshit. Where in the Quarry you had the don't move controller. Not the Quarry. Until Dawn you had the don't move controllers, and the Quarry was the hold your breath until you felt safe, which is just wait until the red bar goes away. Then you move. Where this one, it's the don't breathe. We have to tap, 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 tap with the fucking heartbeat. And then they really fuck with you. I think it's a little hope. They fuck with you by throwing in fucking the triangle button, so you're like, XX, XX, X. Oh, fuck, that's a triangle. And then you fucked it up, man. You fucked it up. But yeah, no, I sucked at the damn don't breathe scenarios. And I got my boy Conroy killed. I felt so bad about that. That same stream, I went back to that chapter just to save him and continue the game and do it right. Because I did everything wrong. After Conroy died, I fell into a pit of despair and was just like, I just want to end this game so I can do it right, because it wouldn't let me go back to that chapter until I finished the game. I was so butthurt. But basically the premise of the Man of Madon is Julia and Alex. They're a couple who are exploring a old wreckage with their Alex's brother Bradley, who's kind of a computer whiz who can easily track shit down. And Conroy, to be honest, I don't know why Conroy was there. To be perfectly honest, I had no clue. I'm not bitching or complaining because I love Conroy. I do. I fucking love him. He's adorable, he's funny, he's cute. I would totally date him if I was in that game. But, yeah. He tags along, and then Felicia, of course, she's the captain of the boat. And they ended up finding kind of a map leading them towards this boat. But they don't get a chance to get there because they get jumped by pirates, who end up taking them to this Manchurian gold. Because they think it's actual gold. They think it's real fucking gold and not a chemical weapon. Which is, apparently, a lot of people thought that originally, that Manchurian gold was actual gold. But no, it's a fucking chemical weapon that would basically kill your ass. Now, I don't know how accurate of a depiction it is in the game to real Manchurian gold. I've never really done a cut comparison of that. But if it does anything like it does in the game, I'm scared of this shit and glad we really don't use it in real life. Because, man, oh man, is this shit fucking terrifying with the fact that you could be so scared that you have a fucking heart attack or that you kill yourself or kill somebody else because you think it's a demon coming at you. And something I found really interesting about the game with the whole Manchurian gold kind of filling up the ship is that I think it's Felicia, you know, she goes in the one room and she sees that it's this, like, beautiful ballroom, so gorgeous and elegant with lights and shit. And then she steps outside, takes a deep breath in, takes one out, goes back in, and it completely changes. So it kind of lets you know that the effects really don't linger outside of the main containment area, which is inside the ship. Like, as long as you're outside, you should be fine. But, yeah. I thought that was just a really nice touch to have where they're walking around the ship and that certain rooms or certain things could trigger the fear gas to really kick in. And as soon as you step outside, you can catch your breath and realize, I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. It was like, I think Conroy, when Felicia's trying to communicate with Conroy and he's on top of that, oh God, what is it, banister or something? But he's about to jump. And she talks him off the ledge. It's because I think finally, because he was in the bowels of the ship for a minute. He got lost in the bowels. Like, he fell and shit. So it affects him a lot. And it took a lot of wind, rain, and screaming. Conroy, please don't do this. Like, even I was screaming. I was like, Conroy, please don't do this. I got this far. I got this far, man. Don't do this shit. But, anyway. So the pirates take them to go find this gold. And it turns out the ship's just covered in Manchurian gold, and you really don't find that out. Like, it's not like they outright tell you, like, right off the bat. Like, if you find the information, yeah, it will be like, it will say that shit. Like, I noticed that as well when it comes to Dark Picture games. If you don't pick up certain information, those dialogue actions will not happen. So, my first time playing through, I didn't catch a lot of the Manchurian gold references because I didn't pick up a lot of the pieces of paper. But my second playthrough, I definitely found a lot of information. So while they're having their discussions back and forth, I think it's mainly in the middle of the game when they're like, okay, so we're in the ship, what do we do? That's when a lot of the dialogue comes out about the ship being covered in the gas. So yeah, I find that really fucking interesting, to be honest, that the game's dialogue can change so dramatically if you don't pick up certain key aspects. And I like that about the game, because that adds a bit of a replayability to it if you missed it that first or second time. Now, once you play it 3 or 4 times, at that point, you might as well just platinum the trophy. Again, I felt the same way when I did the Quarry. But like I said, originally I disliked this one because it wasn't the ghost ship I was expecting. Because I really love haunted ship stories. Like, they're one of my favorite kind of ghost stories. It's not the fact that I don't like, haunted asylums or haunted houses. It's just the ship really adds a bit of more isolation than anything else because you're kind of stuck in the middle of the ocean. There's nowhere for you to go, period. Haunted house, you can maybe walk the fuck out. Same thing with asylum, you can maybe walk the fuck out, jump out the window or something, and you at least got a road. You can go somewhere. Haunted boats, though? No, you fucked. You fucked. And most haunted ghost movies as well, the lifeboats are all gone, too, so you're really screwed at that point. Like, you're really fucking screwed. But I thought it played out very well, especially for a 2019 game. I thought it played out very, very well. and it still holds up very well. It's not the most prettiest one out of the bunch. Again, the Quarry for me is the prettiest one out of the bunch, but it really just tickles me that I really disliked this game at first, and now it's actually higher than A Little Hope. And I used to be so like astonished with A Little Hope too. Like I was really happy with that one. But I think it's mainly because I have a little bit of a soft tender spot for that one. Which, speaking of, we might as well just roll into that one. I mean, we got the basic premise down for Man and Madonna. I think the only major choices you can make near the end of the game is whether or not you get the part for the boat. As long as you, beginning of the game, make sure Julia stays in the water before she pops up. Everybody should live just fine. And as long as you don't attack random things, you should be fine. I do have a bad habit, though, of missing certain sections that I still haven't got yet. Like, there's an entire fight scene that happens between, I think it's like Julia and the main, I'm the captain now guy. That guy, yeah, that guy. There's a fight that happens between him, Julia, and somebody else, or it could be various other two characters, but I've never gotten that fight. I don't know if it's because I keep running, or if I'm avoiding the fight entirely. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I cannot get to that section. And I have to say, there's actually a section of the Quarry I can't get to either that I don't know how to get, which is killing Travis right before you kill Silas. I'm talking about right before you even go in to find Silas, like right there by the car. Apparently, you can kill Travis. And I've looked this up, and nobody else has gotten this, and I don't know how to get this. So there would be some moments in these game franchises, you know, Man, Madonna, Little Hope, Half Slash, and all that, that I just can't get to because I'm making all the wrong decisions. And unless I look up a how-to guide, I don't think I'm going to be able to find the right decisions. I mean, I could. And maybe that's another reason why the game was so short, because there were several sections that I just didn't do. Like, there's one where Brad's stuck underwater and Felicia's trying to break the lock so he doesn't drown and shit. Never got to that section, and I never got to that fight with Julia and the main guy. So yeah, maybe that's why it was a little bit short for me. But I've noticed that about a lot of the Dark Picture games. They're just short. If you just happen to miss a key important information or don't have a character together or something, you're gonna miss a lot of this shit. And probably, to be honest, the reason why I probably have never gotten these parts, but now that I'm thinking about it, is because I generally have Conroy with me. So probably a lot of those sections happen when Conroy's not there. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. But, yeah, Man and Madonna, I have to say, it's not my personal favorite out of the bunch. My personal favorite out of the Dark Picture games as of right now, until Devil and Me comes out, I can't make any kind of inputs. I know I'm super excited about that one because of the fact that it's H.H. Holmes related. But, Man and Madonna, I have to say, it'd probably be my second favorite out of the bunch. It unfortunately knocked A Little Hope out of the original position, to be quite honest. But let's move on to Little Hope, though. Little Hope, I originally had this one very high. And I want to say it's mainly because I played this one originally with my sister when it came out for Halloween. Like, we set up an entire thing in her bedroom so I could stream it live without any camera or anything. But I streamed, I think, like, the opening and shit. And that opening took me aback. I'm not gonna lie. That opening took me aback. Like, I was very, very like, oh my god, they did that. Mainly, it was when the sister got her scarf caught up on that bar and she hung herself. If y'all watch my stream, my gameplay of that, and y'all listen very, very closely, you can actually hear my audible gasp as she falls. But just pure, you know, just like pure utter shock. Like, I was not expecting that shit to happen, to be perfectly honest. But with Little Hope, again, we all know the actor who plays Andrew, which is Will, who, funny enough, I actually know him not from Where's the Millers meme, but from the show School of Comedy. I used to watch that show back in the day, mainly because Art Stew's brother, who, alright, so let me explain this one real quick. I liked Robert Pattinson. I was one of those Twilight fans. I loved everything Robert Pattinson did. And I found out he was related to an actor I also like, or not related, but was best friends with an actor I like from a movie called Like Minds. Not A Beautiful Mind, so don't confuse it with the Russell Crowe movie, but the movie's called Like Minds. And apparently they're best friends. So I found out that his brother Art Stew worked on a show called School of Comedy, and apparently him and Will were together, and one of my favorite skits they ever did was they had to go, I want to say it was them two, I could be wrong, it's been a minute since I've seen this skit, but there are two police officers, they go knocking on the door, and they're like, this is the hardest part of the job. Yeah, I know. Hi, Mrs. McGlynn. Wait, is your son named Kyle? Yeah, oh my god, what happened? I got something to tell you. He won a Nobel Prize. He did a fantastic drawing of him saving a bunch of dogs out of a burning fire. What are you talking about? Yes, a beautiful Nobel Prize. He's done fabulous. He's very much alive. He's very good. Bro, what are you doing? And he has definitely done amazing things. He is fantastic. And the whole time, he's just talking over him. He's just coming up with this off-the-wall crazy shit. And at the end of the skit, he ends up pulling Art back, closing the door, and he's looking at him like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And he just goes, breaks your heart, doesn't it? And then just walks the fuck off. I'm just like, I love that shit. If I could ever find that skit again, I'm definitely using that in one of my edit videos, to be perfectly honest. But yes, Will played one of my favorite characters in this game. I like the dynamic of Andrew's character, especially with the fact that the big twist is it's all in his head. The dude has dealt with a lot of emotional baggage, especially from the beginning of the game when you find out he's the only survivor of an entire house burning down, and people blamed him. People blamed him because he was caught with the matches. And one of the questions I don't think we would ever get a fucking answer to was his adopted sister really being tormented by a demon? I mean, we saw what looked like a demon's hand in the corner at some point before she set the kitchen on fire, but you know, it's one of those, was it? Like, we'll never really get a full, like, it's never really explained, but I think she had a demon with her the entire time. But she ends up burning the house down. Andrew ends up kind of dealing with this whole bullshit, and I guess he repressed those memories to the point that he didn't get those memories back until he was making a shortcut through his hometown, which is Little Hope. And thus is where the game picks off at, where you wake up from the bus crash, and then there's this whole like plot twist of you think they're watching their doppelgangers, and they're in the 1800s Salem witch trials, and it turns out it's like an inner, oh god, what's the word I'm looking for? An inner thought of your inner thought of how you would deal with the situation. And it's like each character represented his family. You know, he's got his dad, his mom, his sister, brother, and all that. And Megan, of course, being the biggest thing, was that he had to ask forgiveness for her because he blamed himself. Because he was like the only one in the family to really, Megan, it's okay. I love you. Everybody else kind of treated her like shit, except for the older sister. Older sister really didn't have a problem. It was just the older brother. But he basically, oh, excuse me, why? But yeah, basically the brothers didn't like her, so it was mainly trying to get, I guess, his sister's approval of forgiveness overall. But it all happened within his head, and if you let the demons win, you let the evilness take in, you get some very depressing endings. You get some very, very depressing endings. Like, you get the locked up ending or he killed himself ending, and it's just depressing. Now, the happy ending, the good ending, oh my god, it actually does a good wraparound of making you fully understand the split personality disorder, in a way, of him from the beginning to the end, of him just dealing with the whole traumatic event and trying to I guess cope with it. So I thought it was kind of cool that we got this like kind of mind fucked of none of this was real. None of this at all was real. The witches ain't real. This family you're hanging out with isn't real. Or not family, but your schoolmates, they're not real. None of it was real. The only thing that was real was your feelings about the situation. Now, the reason though I have kind of like dropped it a little bit compared to where it was originally was because going back replaying this one, it was really slow. Like, they had a lot of repeated dialogue. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of, other dialogue throughout the other games where they have it where they kind of repeat the same, not the same phrase, but the same thing. Like, hey, we gotta get out of here. And then, like 20 minutes later, hey, we gotta get out of here, kind of bullshit. But with Little Hope, it was kind of like a fucking reminder every time. Just, you stop, you find information. All right, guys, we gotta go. We start walking. Oh my God, something's coming. We gotta go. Keep walking. Oh my God, guys, I found something, but we gotta go. It was like, they just kept saying, we gotta go here, we gotta go there. And it became very repetitive in the dialogue. Like, it wasn't spicy or fresh. And there's not a lot of replayability when it comes to this one. There's not a lot of secret things. Postcards. Postcards, that's what it was. Man of Medan had the pictures. Little Hope had the little postcards you can find. I thought that was adorable as hell. But, yeah, it was just really slow. And I guess because I was playing with my sister at the time, and there was a lot of times, while I was stopping and talking to her and stuff, I never really noticed that. But yeah, my second playthrough by myself, I was very, not bored, but kind of like, all right, can we skip this dialogue, please? Like, I don't want to hear it. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, great, wonderful, I love this acting, 100% on the acting. But when you see the same cutscene like 3 times in a row, you kind of tired of it. Especially when it comes when it's the same fucking dialogue. It's like, they find each other, they split up. They go opposite directions, then they find each other, then they split up again. The amount of times they found each other, split up, then found each other again after the split up, and I get it, it's all in Andrew's head, and, he's got to deal with this shenanigans. He's not really talking to these people, he's not really fighting these demons. But damn it, man, the amount of times these people they split up worse than the Mystery Machine gang. Like, Scooby-Doo didn't split up as much as this. Alright, the gang from Scooby-Doo didn't split up this much. Like, Fred's looking at them like, alright, guys, quit splitting up. Guys, like, we're not splitting up. We're all staying together. Oh, where you going? Taylor over there. I'm gonna go this way because I'm tired of walking straight. Like, seriously, Taylor. Like, pick a lane, bitch. Pick a fucking lane. But, I thought the acting was really good, and a lot of the writing was decent on this one, but I feel like they slacked a little bit, but I guess it's because it was a lot of pressure. They released it a year after Man of Medan, which I noticed they did that with all these games, with the Dark Picture game. They release them every year. Funny enough, I want to say they released them around the same time each year, except for Devil in Me, which came out in November. They actually pushed it back an extra month. But, yeah, and so, if I may also add, like, just popped in my head, something I thought was very interesting about all these games was that it gives you a bit of a tidbit of the next game. If you find the certain postcards or certain pictures, it shows you a bit of a clip, a scene for the next game. So let you know that as they're putting that game out, they're already developing another one. Or they're in the process of developing the other one. So, yeah, overall, I like that little side, like, I guess, slide of, hey, check out the next game, kind of like bluffing a little bit. I like that. Okay, I wouldn't really say bluffing because they're not lying about it. They're not saying, hey, this game might come out. No, they're like, no, this is the next game, motherfuckers. This is the next game. And I like that. I really like that. And yet again, I'll say it one more time. The characters felt like characters, even though they're all figment of somebody else's imagination. Each character had his own personality to it, and I like that. And there's something I like about these characters, of all the characters, and they're not one noted stereotype. Like, they do have their stereotypes, yes. Like, you do have like the cocky one, the fucking hardhead one. You got that shit like that. But that's not just them. They're not just strictly the hardhead one. Throughout the game, as you play, you can change them, evolve them, grow them, make them better, as Bane would put it. Mold them. You didn't adapt to the darkness. You didn't live in the darkness. You only adapted. I was born in it, molded by it. Sorry, I cannot do a Bane impression to save my life. But the characters were done very, very well, especially for the fact that they're not real to a degree. They're not really real. So I like that they add still a bit of personality to each of these characters and made them unique and a bit different, especially comparing like this cast and crew to Man of Medan. They're completely different. They're completely fucking different. Maybe there might be one character recycled throughout all the games that has the same trait or something, but to be honest, I really don't see that shit too terribly much. I see that more with the Quarry and fucking Until Dawn. I see the stereotypes and the characters that get swapped. Like, you have your, like in Until Dawn, you had the Asian bitch, just the Asian bitch, and the Quarry, she became the cool Asian bitch. And, let's see, you had Jessica, who was just the blonde bitch. Then you have Emma, who is a sweet blonde bitch. You know, like, they kind of copied the characters a little bit, but added a different personality to them, so they're not carbon copies, but they do kind of act very similar. Can't really say that about the Dark Picture games, though. Like, each character is very unique in his own right. Sorry about that. Dehydrated as hell. But, you know, in the end, if you get the good ending, though, for A Little Hope, fucking would highly recommend that. Don't get the bad ending. Never get the bad endings for any of these games, by the way. Like, especially with Man of Medan and Little Hope. Don't get the bad endings. The bad endings are just depression. Just depression and sadness. Like, either one of those, just don't get the bad ending. Hell, kill people off before you get those bad endings, alright? Like, I'm sorry. Just the one at the end of Little Hope just breaks my fucking heart, because the dude ends up trying to kill himself at the end because he just can't deal with this, and it's just like, wow, just fucking wow. And then, of course, let's go with House of Ashes. I think I talked there's not really too much to talk about with Little Hope. It's very simple, very clean. Like I said, that one feels the shortest out of the bunch because there's a lot of, we're just going to here, to here, to here, to here, to here, because we're running. And it's always the same dialogue, almost, or the same kind of conversations y'all have. Like, do you remember this? I don't remember this. Blah, 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 you know. As Jacob puts it, blah, 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 blah. But, yeah, unfortunately, with Little Hope, that one got dropped down, because it's not a bad game, but comparing it to the other two that I played, it's not the best either. And now I can finally understand why a lot of people had the same ideas as well. There's a lot of people who say that Little Hope is their least favorite. And I finally figured it out why. It's just very slow paced, repetitive dialogue. It doesn't have a certain class about it. Let me rephrase that. It's got a certain class about it, but it doesn't have a very unique style about it. Unlike House of Ash. Let's get the House of Ash. Okay, I'm just... Not now. I don't know who you are, random person calling me, but not now, sweetie. Alright, I don't know how to put this, so I'm just gonna put it as bluntly as possible when it comes to the definition of this game. House of Ash has vampire aliens. Let that sink in for a minute. I said that, and I don't take it back. Vampire aliens. I know what you're thinking, but Amanda, you said earlier that, you know, with the Dark Picture games, nothing supernatural happens, it's all humanly explained. Aliens are humanly explained, okay? There has been proof, we all know it, we all know aliens exist. This is just a new type of alien I have never seen before in my life. I have never seen a vampire alien, alright? I've seen the parasite aliens, thank you Predator, thank you Alien. I've seen those types. I've never seen a vampire alien, though. Like, that blew my fucking mind. Like, the whole time I'm thinking, are they gonna go with Egyptian vampires? It feels like Egyptian vampires. It's gotta be. And then I got to the caves and everything is glowing that green, and I'm looking around and I'm getting a real aliens vibe. I'm just like, oh yeah, no, they're not vampires. They're fucking aliens. This is goddamn aliens. They're fucking aliens, bro. Motherfucking aliens. And that, again, just blows my mind because Madame Madon. Oh, it's just gas on the boat. Little Hope. Oh, it's just all in this guy's head. House of Ash. Vampire aliens. Like, where's that guy at? Just aliens. That guy. Him. He would be so proud of this game. But Ashley Tisdale is in this game, and I haven't seen her act in forever. So it really was a good time watching her play this very strong character. Rachel is a very strong and independent woman. Like, I'm talking about, like, she takes no shit. She's like the leader of the entire organization, I guess the entire team, I should say. She is the leader until her husband shows up, and it's just. And then they add, of course, that dynamic of the fact that she's having a affair with Nicholas. The entire time she is supposed to be married. And at first I was a little pissed at that. I was just like, how dare you? How dare you go across the seas and then cheat on your husband with this guy? Granted, he's a good looking kid. Don't get me wrong. But then it all gets explained. And I'm just like, oh, that adds a whole new dynamic to this character. Because you find out before Rachel, came across, because all this is set during the War of Afghanistan, by the way. If I may add, a lot of these events that happen in the Dark Picture games are based on real events, like real-time events, like the Salem witch trials, the fucking missing boat. Apparently that was a real thing that actually happened. But they're in the Iraq trying to find, I want to say they're still looking for oh god, what's the name of that terrorist? It's been so long since I've heard anyone say his name. Hudan Hussein? Am I saying that right? I don't know. He was a terrorist though. But they were looking for him, and this is why we uncovered the cave or the entrance. Not even the entrance. We fall into the cave because underneath this house that we're kind of invading because we're looking for terrorists and shit. And first of all, I was very taken aback because originally I thought it was going to be demon related. Okay, when that trailer dropped at the end of A Little Hope and I saw Pazuzu, I got excited. I was just like, oh my god, it's fucking Pazuzu. We're bringing him into this shit. Oh my god. And then it started hitting on me slowly as the game progressed. This has nothing to do with Pazuzu in that aspect. His statue is very iconic and is a bit of a symbolism for darkness and evilness, but as being the actual demon from like The Exorcist, that's not him. It's not him. But that still didn't damper my spirits. Like, unfortunately, with Man of Madonna, when I first played it, and I knew the twist was, the ghost, this shit's not really haunted. It dampened my spirits. With House of Ash, no, it did not dampen my spirits at all. I was just like, all right then, we're not going with Pazuzu. What the fuck are we doing here? But yeah. So Rachel, she plays that strong, independent woman, and you find out before she came across to help find terrorists and shit, her and her boyfriend, which fun fact, the diner at the end of Little Hope is the diner her and her husband are leaving at when this all happens. I thought that was a good little nod to the second game. But as they're pulling out, they get into a wreck and her husband ends up losing a leg. It's either her or her husband ends up losing. I can't remember because I haven't replayed that one yet. I didn't get a chance to replay that one. But one of them ends up losing a leg, and I think it's him because she's driving. She blamed herself. She said it was her fault because she wasn't paying attention. Basically, she pulled out blindly and didn't realize there was a car coming. And so she blamed herself. So instead of dealing with it, her idea of dealing with it was just to leave the country and go fight a war. I'm like, that's one way to fucking deal with it. Just go fight a war. I don't have to deal with it. But when you find that out, and then you find out that he still loves her and he never blamed her, it just, I couldn't keep them apart. Even though that's an option, you can let her actually choose Nick over her own husband. But I put her with her own husband because I like the story, I like where it went, and I think they deserved a beautiful ending on that, to be perfectly honest. Now, was it Jason or was it No, it's Eric. His name's Eric. I'm sorry, I've been saying the wrong motherfucker's name. It's not Jason. Jason's the fucking country guy I like. Eric is the name of her husband. Sorry, I have everybody's last name but Eric, Jason, and Nicholas because, you know, Nick is Nick. I don't know why I didn't write either Jason or Eric's name down. I should have saved me some confusion and saved y'all some confusion. My bad, guys. My bad. But Rachel and Eric's her husband. And I liked their chemistry and I liked how it all turned out. But I have to say, the best bromance I saw was Jason and Salmin. Am I saying that right? Probably not. I'm probably saying his name fucked up. But, yeah, Jason and him, fucking love them. I love the fact that they started off hating each other. And Jason, of course, he's the typical guy right after 9/11. He was the typical, fuck Al-Qaeda, fuck these guys, fuck them all, you know, they can all burn in hell. And as they go, they kind of soften up and realize, and I think even one of them said it, was the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and right now we need to work together. And I think him and Jason put their differences aside for that shit. And I like that. I like that kind of character development that even at the end, and he's stuck out in the alien, I guess, eggs, little pods and shit that are about to hatch. He's willing to go back in there. She made that decision anyway. He's willing to go back in and save him. He's just like, not today. We're both gonna get the fuck out of this shit. And he just goes in charge. I'm like, I was fucking like high on fucking energy when I made him go in there to save his life. I was just like, no, bro, this is the best bromance I've ever seen. Unfortunately, I can't say the same thing about Jason and Nick. Like, they had some kind of cute, like, moments. But with Nick, mainly his character development came from, you find out, he accidentally shot a woman by mistake. He thought she had something, and it turns out it was just fruit. It was just veggies. It was just a grocery bag. And he blamed himself. This is why he fell into the arms of Ashley Tisdale's character, and she fell in the arms of him because they were both dealing with their own grief. But the difference is, Rachel had a husband. But yeah, I thought all their character dynamics were fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic. Loved them. Loved them all. Fucking adored Jason and Salmin's relationship, though. Like, I thought they were just perfect. Like, it was literally watching two sides of a coin here. Because they were both fighting, but they didn't really want to, but they really had no choice, you know? It was kind of one of those things. Like, they were fighting for their country, and you can kind of show, in a way, of Jason being a noble man, because in the beginning of the game, before you fall into the cave, you have an option to shoot a guy while his back is turned. I'm talking about back turn, the guy's running away like a coward. You could shoot him, but are you really a dick? No, I didn't play him like that anyways. I didn't shoot him. But it kind of shows you that he can be a dick if you play him that way, but mainly he's written to be a more likable character that actually gets this redemption arc. And that's something I've noticed about a lot of the Supermassive games, is that they try to have a lot of redeeming qualities about certain characters. Like with Until Dawn, it was Mike. With the Quarry, it was mainly more towards the, I think it was Ted Raimi's character. You try to get more into his understanding. Man of Medan, it was, I'm not sure it was more, I think it was Brad. They spent a lot of time trying to, not Brad, Conroy. Or was it Brad? I really can't remember. But, with Little Hope, yeah, with all these games in general, they had these characters with a lot of redeeming arcs. Andrew, of course, in Little Hope was the main character with a redeeming arc. And I want to say, actually, it was Conroy. Conroy and the Man of Medan, they had the redeeming arc overall. But with House of Ashes, it was Jason. Jason had the best redeeming arc of everybody, and I loved them at the end. I loved everything. I even loved the whole cabin fight with the solar eclipse. Because you find in the beginning of the game that the vampire aliens attacked, during a solar eclipse. They can't come out in the sun. This is why we think they're fucking vampires. And they also look like vampires. But they're aliens. They're fucking aliens. But, yeah, no, I thought this was a really good game. I thought it had a lot of tense moments. The being inside the caves, and that was something that makes each of these games unique, is that they're not just set outside. Like Until Dawn is set outside, but in a cabin on a mountain, isolated. The Quarry, set outside, but at a campsite, isolated. Man of Medan, set outside in a boat. Little Hope, set outside inside of a man's mind. House of X, caves. Just caves. It's not even set outside. You barely see outside. You spend outside for all of like one chapter, maybe 2 chapters at the most, and the rest of the time you're stuck inside of a cave until the very fucking end. And that's when you come out and it's a fucking solar eclipse happening, so you're still in the dark. But I thought the endings were really well done. You have, again, many options to kill people, leave them behind. Again, I never play my characters like douchebags. I always try to make them very likable. And I try to actually make it like if I was making a real movie, how would I want these characters to react? And I think I did a good job. I think I did a good job. And that's something that really helps you while you're playing these games to really feel for these characters. If you put in the effort to make these characters more likable or more well-rounded, you're gonna have a good fucking time. Now, like I said, you can't do that with all the characters because, especially with the Quarry and Until Dawn, with 8 to 9 fucking playable characters, they can't flush everybody out. So not everyone's going to get a redeeming arc or redeeming qualities, but they're still very well liked and very beloved characters. Where with the Dark Picture games, there's less characters to work with. So a lot of them feel a bit more flushed out. Now, I will say, like I said, with Man of Medan, Bradley ends up disappearing for a little while. I want to say it's, for a little hope, I want to say Angela. She disappeared for about 2-3 chapters because she got stuck in the sewers while she was being chased. And of course, you had House of Ash, where I want to say it might have been, fuck, was it Nick? I think Nick disappeared for a little while as well. But each game has it to where certain characters kind of disappear for a little while and then come back later on. But I really didn't notice that too terribly much in House of Ashes because I think the pace is just so boom, boom, boom. Where in Man of Medan's a little bit of a slow burn, kind of build up the tension. Little Hope was more about the dialogue and the Salem Witch Trials thing, but with House of Ash, though, it's just boom, action, boom, boom, boom. Like, no matter where you turn, there's something there. The aliens do not give you a moment to rest, and again, I can't believe I'm saying that. Vampire aliens never give you a moment to rest. They're always there, always in the dark, always ready to attack. And that guy from the History Channel should be so happy, because I'm going to use his meme at some point for this, just aliens. Just, because, I'm sorry. That shit just, it blows my fucking mind that, like I said, they make it to where it's more human realistic, but that's something I never thought about. Vampire aliens. Well, we all know aliens are real. We all know aliens exist. But vampire aliens? That's something I've never even heard of. I'm sure there's probably a horror movie somewhere out there where there are vampire-like aliens. I see more parasite-like aliens than anything else. Never vampire-like aliens. And I fucking love that shit. Now, unfortunately, like I said, I can't really discuss too much about The Devil in Me. It's coming out in less than 5 minutes, so I'll be able to say my input once I actually play the game. Unfortunately, I'm not be streaming this one when it first comes out. I'm going to play this one kind of private and on my own so I can enjoy it for what it is. But I will record it and be putting it up on my YouTube. And probably next week, after I play the game, on Wednesdays, because like I said, I'm not sure if I want to wait till the beginning of next year or just go ahead and just start it. Or Wednesdays, I'll start playing games again. And usually, I wouldn't really do a lot of story-based games, but it depends on how long this game is. And I do love this game. I would love to stream it for you guys, because I streamed the other ones. And I know I've been a little lackluster on my gaming, but I've had a lot going on. Stuff going on with Twitch, at home, at work, mentally, physically, you know. But I will eventually get back onto the gaming, guys, because I do miss it. I do miss hanging out with you guys. But I think I'm going to play it this time solo by myself and let me actually enjoy the game for what it is. And then next week, if I'm feeling up to it anyways, I will stream it for you guys and we'll try to finish it out before the end of the month. But before we wrap up, I know what a lot of y'all are thinking. Man, you talked about a lot of characters. You talked about, you know, the counselors on the Quarry. You talked about fucking Elise. You talked about the fucking psychiatrist and Until Dawn. But you didn't talk about the curator. That's because the curator is going to get his own fucking section. Oh my god, I love this guy. Alright, I'm just going to say it out. I'm just going to scream that out. I fucking love the curator. First time I met him, he sent chills down my spine. Everything he said, I latched on to. Like, I don't give a shit that he was fuck with me throughout the entire game franchise, where he's just like, oh, I can only tell you a little bit here and there. But oh my god, he is such a... His name, the guy who plays the curator, his name is Pip Torrance. And oh my god, dude, you do an amazing fucking job. Like, tremendous. Like, everything you say, I hang on to. I get excited every time I start a game, especially the art picture games, and you're the first face I see. And I fucking love you, dude. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to that. Like, you are an amazing fucking narrator. Like, I don't say that about a lot of narrators. Like, throughout movies and TV shows and games and stuff, we always had the narrator. He's one of my favorite narrators throughout an entire game franchise. Even more than the psychiatrist and fucking Until Dawn. Even more than Elise and the Quarry. I'm sorry, Grace. You were a fantastic actress, but Pip, man, that's the curator. Oh, what can I say about this man? He's a very unique narrator because of the fact that he tells you, I forget which game it is, but he tells you right off the bat, I'm a storyteller. I don't write the stories. You write the stories. Or you write the stories. I tell the stories. And he, for a little while, tried to help, in a way, guide you. But he didn't, like, straight up tell you the answer or tell you what this or that was. But he tried to help guide you a little bit throughout this entire story. And something I found interesting, especially with House of Ash, is that he got told to stop. Like, something outside the realm of where he's at told him that he's got to stop helping us. I think it was House of Ash. It might have been Little Hope. I can't remember. I want to say it was House of Ash, though. He got told to stop helping us, or at least stop giving us so many damn hints. Like, somebody got really offended or mad at him. And I find that interesting because he seemed more annoyed by it than anything else. Like, he was just like, certain people, you know, he just seemed like begrudging about it. Like, I like that, and the fact that he really wants to sit there and help you out and tell you how to tell your story, but he can't do it, so he's just like being a cocky little asshole about it. And I love it, man. Like, the curator's got such a charm about him that I fucking adore. The way he talks and holds himself, the little riddles and puzzles, the one-liners, and the fucking kind of like, not middle finger, but kind of jokes he says. I really like that, and he is a fantastic actor. I want to know more about what this actor has done. I didn't get a chance to look him up because I kind of want to do an entire video just for the curator himself, because I adore this man. I really do. Like I said, guys, he's one of my favorite narrators. Out of all the narrators I've ever listened to or heard and stuff, he's one of my favorites. He's got a bit of class, cockiness to him. I really like that. This is why he's my fucking picture for the Dark Picture games. He's the guy. Because he's a well-known face, a well-liked face, and everybody knows him. And, you know, you see Dark Picture games, you automatically think of him. Not just the story, but him. Because at the end, you know, he'll be like, oh, next time we see each other, maybe in Little Hope, maybe not. And he pulls out a book, or he goes to put the book up, and you see the upcoming games and shit. And I fucking love him, man. I fucking love him. And I want to know more about this character. Like, we don't really get to know too terribly much about this guy. which is the thing that really shocked me, that for a very well-loved character, because I've never met anybody who didn't like the guy. Like, who didn't just not like the guy. They actually enjoyed the dude. So, for a guy who's very well-liked and very well-known, he's not really in the game all that much. He only shows up at the beginning and the end and a couple of times in the middle just to give you little points. But he, I guess, is so impactful that people just remember him. And that's some quality fucking acting right there. If you're barely in this game or in this movie, but people respect you and go, hey, you're that guy, that's some fine fucking acting right there. And that's something I fucking just absolutely adore about the curator. And I love his little room. I love the stories. I love the way he holds himself. And like I said, I want to know more about him. I want to know more. I don't think he's human. He's definitely not human. Wherever he's at, it's not in the human realm. It almost reminds me of the Tower and Dead by Daylight, where the archivist lives. It almost reminds me of that. But where the archivist, really hated the realm and wanted to get the fuck out, this guy seems to really like it, really enjoy it, and really enjoys your company too. And I love that. I love his company too. I have to have a conversation with him and let him know how I really feel. But yeah, no. Hands down, my favorite character of all the games, even the Quarry, even more than I'm sorry, Dylan, I love you. You're my second fave, my first favorite counselor, second favorite character ever. But the curator, he wins hands down for me, because he's just fucking perfect to me. He's got that good balance of creepiness, mystery vibe to him. That makes sense. He's got that charm. Just the way he speaks, I just love it. I hang on every word he says. Every fucking word he says. Every fucking word he says. Hey, I'm checking one thing out real quick. Alright, guys. But it's a little ways after 7 now, so I'm going to end this podcast a little early. I know I spent most of the time talking about the games themselves, and what I liked and didn't like about it, and all that. I still say, guys, give this game series a shot. If you love choose your own adventure games, you love horror games, you definitely love the dark picture games. If it's probably rather fucking obvious, but people who love dark picture games, we're not all fucking crazy. We don't want to just always sit there and watch people die. No, we want characters and stories and development, and this game franchise has got it. And I can appreciate that with the dark picture games, and then of course Until Dawn and the Quarry. I can appreciate this. And Supermassive is on top of their game, man. Supermassive is definitely on top of their shit with all these games. And I actually cannot wait to see what Season 2 brings for the Dark Picture Anthology. I definitely will be having I don't know if I want to do a video or what on The Devil in Me, because I definitely would love to do something to do with The Devil in Me besides just playing the game, because it's the series finale of the first season. It's the last game of this because apparently it's supposed to be 8 or 9 games total in this whole thing, and this is only season 1, which means we still got probably another 4 years of this game franchise of just dark picture games, and it probably could be more games. But as of this moment, I know The Devil in Me has just dropped about 6 minutes ago, so I gotta play that. And I did see that they were making a new VR game that's like a sequel or something to kind of Rush of Blood in a way. They're going to be doing something similar to that. I didn't quite get too far into it because I was trying to find some information in The Devil in Me, and I couldn't find shit about the game, to be honest, guys. I barely found the characters' names. I didn't find any of the actors' names, by the way. Apparently the characters in The Devil in Me are Kate, Charles, Mark, Jamie, and Aaron. I don't know who they are. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know anything about this game. Like I said, when I play it, I will be able to get my full input and thoughts and everything on this game franchise. But I'm going to go ahead and end this stream here. I hope everybody who has watched, is watching, will watch. I hope you enjoy. I hope everybody has a fantastic and wonderful night. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please give this video a like, subscribe, and follow. You never know what fuck shit's going to happen. Trust me, I never fucking know. I totally didn't realize when I set this date that conveniently I was going to have to stop the stream a little bit early so I could play this game. Because I've been very excited for this game. It's a birthday present to me because my birthday was Wednesday. So happy belated birthday to myself. Next week we will be tackling one of my favorite TV shows to kind of wrap up my birthday month. Like I said in the beginning of the month, I talked about The Changing, which is my favorite horror movie ever. Today was Dark Picture Anthology and other games, basically other Supermassive games, which is my favorite horror game franchise. And next week we'll be talking about my favorite horror TV show of all times, which is The Haunting of Hill House. Love that show. 10 out of 10 would highly recommend it. I'm probably going to have my buddy Andrew with me on this one because he too adores this fucking show, and I'm sure he has a lot to say about the show as well. But that's a story for another day. So until then, my friends, y'all take care, and I'll let y'all know how the devil in me plays at the end.